Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you may be in the world. And thank you so much for joining me today in our live stream. Our topic today is going to be the 2021 PMP exam. The exam is changing on January 2nd of the coming year, and today I want to tell you here the learning objectives. This is what we're going to be looking at. You will, at the end of this presentation, be able to name the criteria, requirements, and exam content and policies for the exam. Very important to understand what that is all about for the new exam. You'll also be able to identify PMI authorized training partners, instructors, and courses. You may be aware of the REPs, the registered education providers. That's going away. It's replaced with the ATP. And last but not least, I want you to be able to decide what action to take for your specific situation as maybe a PMI chapter, as a PMP instructor, and also as a student who wants to take the exam next year. My name is Cornelius Fichtner, and I have been a PMP trainer since about 2005, 6, something like that. And my claim to fame is I am the creator of the PM exam simulator that many people use for their exam prep. Okay, but we do have a surprise guest here today, and let me show you who that is. She is lying over there. There we go. Wait, there you go. You can see her in the center of the screen. Kokomo, kitty. Nah, she's asleep. That is my cat, Kokomo, who has decided to join us today. Yes, Kokomo, as in the song from the Beach Boys. All right. And what are we going to be seeing today? Here is our agenda. For the 2020 PMP exam, I am going to first start out giving you a rapid-fire Q&A. Here I have 17 questions and answers that are most pressing in people's minds. We're going to do that in 8 minutes. That's why I'm saying rapid fire. Then we're going to take a look at a few aspects of the 21 PMP exam that you need to understand. The exam content outline, the ATP program that I already mentioned, the Authorized PMP exam prep course. I'm going to show you what we have. I want to talk a little bit about exam strategy and training materials for that new exam. And of course, we'll also be talking about taking the exam online. And last but not least, most importantly, you need to know what actions to take if you're a chapter instructor or a student. We're having the first few comments coming in already here from YouTube. Dev Rout says, hi, sir. Hello, Dev. We have Dion Aman from Facebook sending hearts. I would assume that is not for me, but for Kokomo. And here we go. Ajita Srinivasan. I am reading the same book, Emotional Intelligence. Oh, you saw that lying on my desk, right? Here we go. That's I'm reading this at the moment here. Okay, moving on. So as I said, first we have the rapid fire Q&A there, but it is Cyber Monday today, okay? And we do have a Cyber Monday sale. So if any of you wish to take the PMI ACP exam as well, right? Okay, I know this is a live stream about the PMP exam, but if you want to take the ACP exam as well, or if you have a colleague who wants to take the ACP exam, then you can take advantage of our Cyber Monday sale today. Okay, it's the Agile PrepCast Elite. That's PMI ACP training for as well as the PMI ACP exam simulator. You'll get a $50 discount, and you do that by entering the code CYBER2020 into the checkout box when you go to agileprepcast.com. Or if you look in the chat right now, my colleague Shannon has just placed 2 links, or rather 1 link in there, projectmanagementprepcast.com/PMI ACP exam. That will take you over to the Agile PrepCast where you can buy it. We have more people coming in. Cam Hughes says hello. We have Aluino Roja, greetings. Pamela Wong, hello all. And then we have Sonja Mörs, guten Morgen from Germany. Hallo zurück. And we also have Diana Mann from Dallas, Texas. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the program. Okay, and now, with all of that out of the way, let us move on to the rapid fire Q&A. Remember, this is all about the PMP exam 2021. Is there a new edition of the PMBOK guide coming out? No, there is not. PMI has said they would publish it in soon, and at this point, you need to use the 6th edition for your PMP exam. So no matter whether you take the 2020 exam or the 2021 exam, excuse me, use the 6th edition. Well, I said PMI was going to release it soon. When exactly will it be released? Good question. Q4 of this year, so in the coming 4 weeks, or what seems to be more likely at this time is Q1 of 2021. Yet, even if PMI releases the PMBOK Guide 7th edition for the 2021 exam, keep using the PMBOK Guide 6th edition until you hear the official word from PMI. Now you should switch over to the PMBOK Guide 7th edition. Also, frankly, just because PMI is releasing a new PMBOK guide doesn't necessarily mean that project management is changing or that very much on the PMP exam is actually going to be changing. Moving on, is there a new exam content outline, a new ECO? Yes, and we have more about the ECO later. I'm seeing a lot of chatter here in the chat box. Most people just saying hello to all of you. And please don't forget, if you have any questions about the exam, just type them in the chat box. I will bring them up here. When will the exam change? The last date for the exam is December 31st of this year, and then the first date for the 2021 exam is January 2nd of next year. So if you had hoped maybe, I want to take the exam on the 1st of January, then I'm sorry, that's when PMI is going to be making the switch. That is when the new exam will be put into place. What is the biggest difference between the 2020 and the 2021 exam? There are two major differences. First of all, today in the 2020 exam, we have 5 domains: initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, controlling, and closing. And in the new exam 2021, there will be 3 domains: people, process, and business environment. And keep that business environment a little bit in the back of your head, because we'll get back to that later again. Okay, so that's the first main change. But the bigger change really is that the new 2021 exam will be consisting of 50% agile and hybrid questions. Today, there are only plan-driven questions on the PMP exam. Okay. Next, is the 2021 exam more difficult? Yes, it clearly is more difficult because of the 50% agile and the new business environment domain. That is brand new, these 2 areas, and they just mean that you now have to know more. You have to suddenly also know a lot about agile and hybrid, in addition to what you already knew about traditional project management, and you need to also get into the business environment and understand that more. We have a question here from Madhavi Sharma. Are there any changes for more than 49 processes? Now, Madhavi, I'm not quite sure what you mean for more than 49 processes. If you wouldn't mind explaining that in another question a little bit more, then I can bring it up again and hopefully answer that. Cam Hughes asks, will the new exam be based on the new content? Yes, Cam, the new exam will be based on the new exam content outline, and we're going to take a look at the new exam content outline in a bit. Federico Tanure Lobato asks, I'm on the finish of my prep. Should I wait for the next year? We'll get into that in a little bit, Federico, but if you are on the finish line of your prep, do it this year. Just, quick answer for that here. Okay, moving on. Is the 2021 exam more expensive? Yes, it is. And that is because the new PMI training is going to be instructor-led only. So we are now required to have a live instructor teaching the class. We may not have any recorded training anymore. So the 2021 exam is going to be more expensive on the training side because there is a live instructor. Samira asks, how can we map the 3 domains and PMBOK 6. Samira, frankly, there is really no mapping between those that I am aware of. You'll have to take a look at the exam content outline directly to see what it contains, okay? And we're not going to jump into the exam. Andrew asks, will you show some examples of new Agile questions? No, I won't be showing those today, Andrew. I have, however, a future presentation planned where we look at the 2021 exam simulator, and there we will take a look at a few exams. Are they adding more processes? Is Madavi is asking, probably about PMBOK 7. No, they're actually removing processes. You will not be able to compare PMBOK 6 and PMBOK 7. It is like day and night. Basically, PMBOK 6 is process-based. PMBOK 7 is principles-based. That is the main answer. Hussein asks, will there be a new edition of the PMBOK guide? Yes, we already answered that. There will be. It's coming out in the next year, most likely. Okay. Now then, let us move on to the next question. Is my 2020 training enough to pass the 2021 exam, right? This takes us back to Federico's question. I'm on the finish line of my prep. Should I wait for the next year? So yes, if you are studying with today's materials, at least with our materials, we expect to that our material covers about 85% of the 2021 training. And later on, we'll talk about, I also want to talk about how to upgrade yourself in a future presentation. Right now, we're not going to be talking about, what if I study today? What do I need to do to pass next year? Okay. Then the logical follow-up question is, should I take my exam now or later? So if you are in the situation like Federico here, I am on the finish line of my prep. Should I wait for next year? Take it this year. Okay. But if you have not yet begun your studies, if you are not in the middle or in the last quarter, towards the end, you should schedule it for next year. It is now almost December, and just honestly, you do not have enough time to start today and finish by the end of December. There are thousands of people ahead of you who have studied already. There are thousands of people ahead of you who are already looking to take the exam, so they're grabbing all the available exam seats. You will be left high and dry. There is simply no way that you can make this still happen at this time. Okay. Cam asks, I'm scheduled to take my exams. If not, in the instance I don't pass, will I have to start studying for the new content? Cam, like I said, I will do a presentation about this going probably early January. What do I have to do, to upgrade myself? My recommendation for you right now is this. Don't worry about next year. Worry about this exam. Do everything you can now to pass this year. That is your goal. You do not study to fail, you study to pass. It's good to have a plan B for next year, but right now, study to pass in 2020. Okay? How many questions does the 2021 exam have? It's exactly the same. It has 200 questions and you have 4 hours. Are there new question types on the exam? Yes, there are. There are multiple choice questions. There are multiple correct questions. Multiple choice, those are the ones that we have today. Multiple correct is where, you have check boxes and it says, please select 3 of the following, right? Then there are drag and drop where you have a process like plan, do, act, check, and then you have to put it in the correct order of plan, do, check, act, so drag and drop. Fill in the blank. For example, the abbreviation for work breakdown structure is ... and then you have to type in WBS. Or hotspot questions where you have to click somewhere in a graphic to a specific point. Okay. Bella says, I think I'm going to clear my PMP by the 31st of December. Bella, that is the right attitude. Yes. Think of doing it this year if you are in the middle or towards the end of your studies. Get it done in 2020. You can do this. Okay. Can I take a break during the exam? Not only can I take a break, you have to take a break. There is now a mandatory break in the PMP exam. First, you will be answering 90 questions. After those 90 questions, you have to submit those 90 questions, and then there is a 10-minute break. You don't have to take the 10-minute break. You can, after 5 seconds, you can say continue. But I recommend do take the break. And then there is part 2 with 110 questions going forward. They did this because people can now also take the exam at home. And let me show you what that means, okay? If you take the exam at home, you're sitting in front of your computer like I am right now, and you are not allowed to move, okay? If you do this during the exam, you have just failed your PMP exam if you do it from home. Okay, so you're not allowed to get up, you're not allowed to move out of the view of the camera. And because of that, they said, okay, we're going to put a break in there, 90 questions, then take a break so the people at home can go to the bathroom, stretch their feet, and then you come back and then you take part 2 of the exam. Okay, lots of questions coming in. According to Shibu, PMBOK 7 will take another 1 year to release. So are we taking the PMBOK Excellent? Yes, Shibu, you also missed that. Continue using the PMBOK Guide 6th edition. Question from Samira. Are the questions on PMP Simulator based on the new exam format? What do you think, Samira? Yes, they are, of course. Yes, that's the whole point of having the 2021 exam simulator. We spent months investigating and getting intelligence from PMI and learning about the new exam, and then based on that information, developing new questions for the 2021 exam. All that during a pandemic, mind you. Okay. Raya, I would like to take the PMP exam next year. I'm new in project management. For studying, which one would you suggest, PMBOK 7 or PMBOK 6? Also, when the vehicles will be available. Thanks. Raya, good question. If the PMBOK Guide 7th edition comes out next year, I still recommend taking a look at the 6th edition. So what you can do now is start using PMBOK Guide 6th edition, read through it, study it, even if you are planning to take the exam next year. It is not going to just be obsolete because PMI is coming out with the 7th edition. Okay. Moving on with the next question, can I take notes during the exam? You can, but only using an on-screen whiteboard, and that is similar to Microsoft Paint. Again, PMI made this change because they want to give nobody an advantage. No? If you go to a testing center, they used to give you physical notebook, pen, and you can write things down. And at home, you're not allowed to have anything on your desk. So this mess that I have here on my desk, this is a reason why you will fail your PMP exam. Just this alone, you will fail. Okay, and so your desk has to be completely clear, and so they then have an on-screen whiteboard similar to Microsoft Paint, and you can type your notes into that. Okay. Andrew Kasarov asks, did you try to pass the new exam by your own? I assume you're asking me, Andrew. No, because the new PMP exam is not available yet. Okay, so nobody can take it because it's not out yet. If I get the PMP exam simulator today for 2020, will I have to purchase it again for the 2020 version? No, you do not, Arif, because if you buy it today, you will get a free upgrade to 2021 in January fully automatically. Okay, that is when you go to our website, you'll see that it mentions that on the website that if you buy it in 2020, this time you get a free upgrade to that. Okay. Cam says Pearson VUE has a whiteboard that you can practice on. There you go. That's the answer to the question on the screen. Okay. Can I still do a brain dump? Yes and no. So yes, do a brain dump. Use the brain dump as a study tool. So what you want to do is at home as you are studying, every day you're going to take a blank piece of paper and you're going to write out your brain dump sheet, the formulas that are hard for you to remember, the processes, everything that you go, I can't remember this. And there are so many questions about, I don't know, earned value or procurement. And I'm really not that great in those areas, right? So if you do that, then by the time the exam comes around, it will be in your head, right? If you do that every single day, so you can then skip it for the exam. So yes, use a brain dump as a study tool. No, do not try and write out your brain dump during the exam because it's really impossible for in the new whiteboard that we have. Let's see. Tati asks, I didn't apply for the exam. I finished my 35 hours. Are they still valid? Yes. If you take a 35-hour training this year, that will still be valid next year. Not a problem there. PMI is not going to just cut you out. The contact hours, the training hours, they never expire. Okay. Paresh, could you please share PMP Simulator 2020 discount code? I'm eagerly waiting for it. Let me know Simulator will be upgraded for 2021. Okay, part 2, I just said, yes, we do have an upgraded version. And if you buy the simulator right now, then you will be able to take it. Let's see, if you buy it this year, you will receive an upgrade next year. Sorry, I was rereading a question and got confused. Okay, and my colleague Shannon has already put the discount coupon code into the box here. You can use code NOV20 to receive 10% off the 2020 and 2021 exams. 2020 exam simulator. There we go. Why aren't you producing a self-paced option for the 2021 exam, Michael? The easy answer is PMI forbids it. That's it. PMI does not allow us to have a self-paced recorded PMP 2021 exam course, period. Moving on. If I fail the 2020 exam, can I take the old exam in 2021? And I'm coming back to my earlier statement here. Yes, it's good to have a backup plan and worry about failing, but the number one thing you want to do is you want to pass the exam this year if you are in the final stretch, right? So if you're studying for this year, don't focus on failing, focus on passing. The answer, however, is no, you cannot. Okay. If you fail in 2020, you must take the 2021 exam after January 2nd of next year. I know of one student, last time it changed, that was allowed to do this out of tens of thousands of people, right? There was only one student who was allowed to do that and take the old exam. Yeah, those chances are pretty slim. And as I mentioned previously, I will provide an upgrade webinar. We're also thinking about offering an upgrade course, sort of a booster course, if you like, to boost you up from 2020 to 2021. That's coming at a later date. Okay, moving on. I'm already PMP certified. Do I have to recertify? No, you don't. You don't have to recertify. Once you are a PMP, you will always be a PMP, sort of, right? If you're already PMP certified, you know about having to earn professional development units after you pass your exam. PDUs are not changing in any way. You need to earn 60 PDUs during the 3 years after you pass your exam. Okay, and now wait. We're moving on to the next one. So I've shown you this. Your questions in the chat. So let's take a look if we have any questions in the chat right here. What is the overlap between the PMP Agile content and PMI ACP? That is a good question. We don't really know because the PMI ACP and the PMP exam content outline go in such different directions that we don't really know what the overlap is. However, what I would strongly assume is that the Agile Practice Guide, we'll get to that, the Agile Practice Guide is where the overlap is described, okay? How many questions in year 2020 are based on PMBOK 6th edition? We don't know that answer really, Calvin, because for the 2020 exam, all we know is that the PMBOK Guide 6th edition is a major reference book. Okay, and so we know that PMI always maps its exam questions to 2 reference books, okay, Book A and Book B, but we don't know for 2020 what these books are except for the PMBOK Guide. Best guess, 75% of the questions on the current exam map back to the PMBOK Guide. Is that a correct guess? Only PMI knows. I really don't know. Okay. Suggest a study plan. Pamela, are you asking study plan for 2020? I would suggest stop studying or don't start studying for 2020, frankly. Okay. And for 2021, we'll get to a suggested plan toward the end of my presentation. Okay. Let us continue here. So that was it for the FAQ that we had. Lots of questions today. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at the PMP exam content outline. And statement number 1 here is the PMP exam is not a test of the PMBOK Guide. Instead, it is a question. It is based on the exam content outline. Okay. Many people think, yeah, the PMP exam tests your knowledge of the PMBOK Guide. That's not correct. It is based on the exam content outline. The exam content outline defines and describes what's on the exam. So it is the syllabus of the exam, and it consists of 3 areas: domains, tasks, and enablers. Okay. A domain is defined as a high-level knowledge area that is essential to doing project management. Tasks are the underlying responsibilities of you as a project manager within the domain. And then the enablers, they illustrate the examples of the work that are associated with these tasks. So this is, top level is domain, below that are the tasks, and below that are the enablers. Here are the 3 domains: people, process, and business environment. We mentioned that earlier. 14 tasks in people, 42% of questions come from there, from the PMI 2020 exam. Process has 17 tasks, and 50% of questions come from there. And then the business environment, either 4 or 5, we still don't know. We've asked PMI 3 months ago what the correct number is, and 8% of the questions will come from there. And remember this here, I've already mentioned this, probably the biggest change on the exam. 50% in 2021 will be on predictive, waterfall-based questions, and the other 50% will be representing agile and hybrid questions. Okay, so that is really the biggest, real, impactful change that you will see 2020. Okay, we're getting the same questions a little bit again and again. I'm new in PM, current guide 6th is right. At this point, keep using the PMBOK Guide 6th edition. Okay. We also have a question from Amer about his PrepCast expired is on the 15th. If you are you referring to the exam simulator as the PrepCast? Please do get in touch with our support team. They can assist you to purchase a 30-day extension. Okay. Moving on. So, as I said, there are domains, tasks, and enablers in the exam content outline. This here is an example of one of these tasks, okay, with several of the enablers that go with it. This is task 2 from domain 1. This is all about people, okay? So, and as part of the people domain, your task is to lead a team, okay? How do you lead a team? Well, by setting a clear vision and mission, you enable leading a team, right? Support, if you support diversity and inclusion, that enables you to lead a team. If you value servant leadership, that enables you to lead a team, and so on, okay? Now you see why they're called enablers, because determine an approach and lead appropriate leadership style that enables you to lead a team in the people domain, okay? So that's how this works. So you have to understand the domains, the tasks, and the enablers. Okay, so much for the exam content outline. Chris asks, will this session be available for review? Yes, we are recording this. You can find this on Facebook and on YouTube. Okay, when the PMP will start using the new approach? January 2nd of next year, Ilya. Okay. Moving on, the next aspect we need to talk about is the PMI Authorized Training Partner Program. You may have heard of the registered education providers. Well, the registered education providers are going away. They're going to be replaced with the ATP, the Authorized Training Partner Program. Means we get an endorsement from PMI, promotion on their website. We get the authorized PMP exam prep materials. We'll see those in a bit. There will be instructor training, train-the-trainer training that I have already gone through, and there are also badges that PMI gives to the people involved in the new ATP training. If you are by chance a member of your local PMI chapter, and maybe you're even on the board of that chapter, then you may be considering to become a PMI ATP yourselves as the PMI chapter. If you do that, then you must follow all the ATP policies that my company has to follow. Plus, for the chapters, you are also going to have to make sure that the chapter board or decision makers are not ATP owners, not ATP certified instructors. Okay, very important. And the chapter instructors that you have must be ATP certified, and they must be your own chapter members. You cannot go to some other chapter and, rent them from there. So if you are a decision maker in a PMI chapter, then, I have a few take actions for you at the end. I mentioned the badges. Here we go. ATP badges on the left-hand side is a partner badge or a chapter badge, if you would like. This is what my company has, the 2020 chapter badge. And then on the right is the instructor badge. A big difference is there that the orange word instructor is on there. That is my instructor badge. Okay. Calvin Tang asks, how are PMP question items are written based on experience, product manager, observations, and common mistakes made by green PMers? Calvin, they are written by volunteers like you and I. So as a PMI member, you can become a volunteer in the area of writing exam questions, okay? And then you get together with your other volunteers, and together you will write and define the questions based on quality criteria from PMI. So this is a completely volunteer-driven effort. Okay, if you want to know more about the ATP program, please go to atp.pmi.org. Ahmed says, if I purchase the PrepCast at the end of 2019, will I still have access to it in 2021? That depends, Ahmed, on whether you used it, whether you haven't used it. Basically, if you have used it and you have used up all your 90 days, then no, you are going to have to buy a new version. You will not receive an upgrade. If you have never used it, if you have never logged in and you've never used it, then you can write to us. Log into the PrepCast website. On the welcome page at the bottom, there is a video in which I explain this in detail. Okay, next is the aspect of the Authorized PMP Exam Prep course. Yes, in the past, when you took a PMP prep course, you didn't know who created it. In our case, we created our own course. And in the future, when you take a PMP exam prep course, you can take the PMI Authorized PMP Exam Prep course. And obviously, that was developed by PMI. Question now is, why did PMI do this? Why is PMI developing, or has PMI developed its own course? Simple. PMI's research says that 4 out of 5 of PMI's customers feel that it is important to be taught PMI-developed content. So you and other people who were asked this question said, yeah, I want to get a PMI course. Okay, so PMI did create that course. It is PMI developed. It is a 5-day long course. And this is the most important change, instructor-led only. So if you know my PrepCast training course, then you know that it's very long, professionally recorded course. I am no longer allowed to do this. I must teach the PMP exam live only. No recorded training, period. And it must be delivered to an ATP company. My company is an ATP. And you must have a PMI authorized trainer, which I and all the trainers in our company are. Obviously, we follow the rules here. So why did PMI decide, okay, authorized trainers? Well, again, 9 out of 10 of PMI's customers said that they look for PMI-approved instructors when searching for PMP exam prep and training. So now you can be certain that, this trainer is PMI approved. Let's take a peek into this course. What does it look like? It is a 5-lesson course. And it's not like, lesson 1 is day 1. For example, lesson 5 there is a bit shorter. But 5 lessons, creating a high-performing team, starting the project, doing the work, keeping the team on track. And remember, at the very beginning, I said, don't forget that, we have this new business domain, keeping the business in mind. Now, here's the good thing, right? PMI knows what's on the exam, right? They know what questions you will be asked. They know the exam content outline. They know everything from start to finish, what they have to teach you in order to pass. So, of course, this course is specifically targeted and designed for you to pass the 2021 PMP exam. If you take this course, you have all the basics that you need straight from PMI. PMI also has 200 cloned questions. We are a premier partner, ATP premier partner, and so PMI gave us these 200 cloned questions, and we are making them available to you through our exam simulator that you get together with taking the course. Okay. Calvin asks, if I fully understood and memorized the 49 processes and his ITDOs, can I attain 75 in PMP exam 2020? Calvin, do not memorize. Do not memorize, okay? Understood is good, but don't memorize, because the PMP exam is not a memorization test. It is an experience-based test, okay? And I cannot guarantee that you can attain 75% in the PMP exam 2020. If you do this. In the traditional Pearson Run Exam Center, candidates have an exam on paper or on PC. PC. I believe the only country where PMI is still doing paper-based is China. Okay. Are the questions in the exam similar to the cloned questions? We believe so, Parul. We have not yet seen the real 2021 exam because nobody has, but we believe that the cloned questions are very similar. If I purchase the PrepCast Elite Plus today, will it include the 2021 PrepCast? Okay. If you buy the Elite Plus today, it will not include the 2021 simulator, but you will get an upgrade to the 2021 simulator in January. Again, log in to the PrepCast website. There is a link to a video in which I show you this. May be able to grab that and paste it into the chat box here. Is this training mandatory? No, Sonia, if you already have your 35 contact hours, then it is not. How do you calculate math problems in online testing? You don't have to, because the math problems in the online test are really easy. Everybody says you don't really need a calculator, but they do have an on-screen calculator for you to help. Okay. How often do you update the questions of the exam simulators? We do this relatively often. For the 2021 simulator, we haven't done it at all because, well, it's not yet. Nobody has told us, we have no feedback. But for the 2020 simulator, we do every week. We have updates and changes and fixes and corrections and improvements. So this is an ongoing thing. How about training in other languages for 2021, Eli? We don't do that. Our training is fully in English at this point. Valerie, does PMI expect you to pass the exam once you test without doing further studying? I would say no. Okay. This is just a PMP exam prep course. In my opinion, it is not sufficient. You need to study outside of the course as well. And most importantly, you need to use a simulator. Samira asks, are the 200 Chrome questions available in the 2021 exam simulator? No, Samira, they are not. We have a second exam simulator only for those who attend this course. So if you attend this course here that you see on the screen, then you get the 200 questions, and not if you just buy the simulator. If I passed, can I still apply? Yes, of course. Sarah, that is not a problem. I took my exam in 2004, and I am a certified instructor for the 2021 exam. Not a problem. How do I know if the trainers are certified by PMI? Remember the badges? I showed the badges earlier on. Let me try going back here. Here we go. These are the badges. Look for these badges, and that's how you can determine if these people are certified. Okay, let's move on. Glimpse into the actual exam training here. This is the course, and this is frankly my only critique to PMI. If you look at this, it's a very traditionally developed presentation. It has a slide title and then bullet points. And I'm sorry, PMI, but frankly, this was okay in 1999. It is now 2020. This is not a modern, engaging design for a course that keeps the people motivated. So I hope that version 2 of this is going to be an upgrade, not only from content, but also visually. I and all your students will appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay, and now I want to jump over and I want to take a look at the exam course that we are offering. Okay, I want to show you this as well quite quickly here. Let me give you the link to this course here. I'm going to type that into the chat box. There you go. Okay, so this course here is the 2021 course that we are offering, and this is what's included in our official course. You get obviously the 5-day official PMI course. To make this bigger, there you go. Now you can actually read this. Okay, so the 5-day official PMI course. You will get the PMP exam simulator 2021 with the 90 day access and the 2000 exam sample questions. And this is the question that, who was it? I don't remember. Samira asked this. Are the 200 clone questions included in the simulator if I just buy that. No, simulator, they are not. They are separate. As you can see here, we also list them separately. So you have to take this course in order to get the questions. And by the way, this is a PMI requirement, okay? Nobody else is allowed to do this either. You get the 35 contact hours that you need to prepare for the exam or to get access to the exam. It includes all the slides. PMI will give you access to these slides. PMI-certified instructors, obviously, has to be taught by an instructor. And we also include a 12-page formula study guide so that you can study the formulas. You can get expert advice in our discussion forum. And if you don't know this, the PMP exam is not for life, okay? The PMP exam only goes for 3 years. Then you have to recertify for another 3 years and then recertify again. And during the first 3 years and the second and the third 3 years, you have to earn 60 professional development units, okay? And this is what we give you here. We will give you these first 60 PDUs to recertify. So you not only take the course with us, we take you straight to your first recertification there. The course will start in January. Here are the instructors. I'm scrolling down here to the course dates. Okay, right now we have a waiting list. We don't have any scheduled courses, so please go to this page if you're interested in taking the course and get on to the waiting list. We have 3 types. We have the 1-week course, Monday to Friday. Okay, then we have weekend classes, 5 Saturdays or 5 Sundays, or Saturday, Sunday 2.5 times. And the third one that we also added is 2 weeks, Monday to Friday, but only in the morning, right? So this 1 week here, Monday to Friday, that's Monday from 8 to 5 and Tuesday from 8 to 5 and so on. And 2 weeks, Monday to Friday morning would be, 8 to 12, but for 2 weeks. So it's a little slower paced right there. Okay. Question. Why did they make this earlier, as they do not have the PMBOK 7 ready in hand? According to PMI Dev, PMI says that the PMP exam is not based on the PMBOK guide. Okay, therefore, just because we changed the PMP exam, changed the PMBOK guide, it doesn't mean the PMP exam is changing. Okay, you have to get this in. The PMP exam is not a test of the PMBOK guide. It is a test of your experience based on the exam content outline, and the PMBOK guide is a reference book only. Okay, that is very important to understand. Moving on. So this is the Authorized PMP exam course that we offer. So the courses are available in January. Please do sign up for the waiting list. It includes the exam simulator. It includes 2 exam simulators, one with the 2100 sample question and the second one with the real questions. And it also includes the formula study guide and the 60 PDUs for your recertification. Okay. Terry asks, I purchased the PMP exam PrepCast Elite Plus last week. However, I was not 5 domains, streamlining the domains. New rollout of the Elite Plus contain the new 3 domains. Okay, Terry. So if you have the Elite Plus, then you will get an upgrade to Simulator 2021. The training will not be updated. The training, we are not allowed to update the training. Okay. Are there online websites listing out real case materials showing sorts of project documents and plans related to construction to the PMBOK content? Calvin, I do not know that because the PMP exam is industry agnostic. So they are not going to ask you construction questions. They are going to ask you questions from construction, healthcare, IT, aerospace, and so on. So they're asking all over the board, most of them being generic without referencing a industry at all. Okay. Next aspect, strategy and training materials for the new exam. So if you are thinking about preparing for the new exam, then here is my recommendation for you. First of all, do take the PMI authorized course in 2021. That will teach you all the theoretical knowledge that you need to know for the exam. In addition to that, on top of that, you want to study the PMBOK Guide 6th edition and the Agile Practice Guide. So APG there means Agile Practice Guide. You want to study those two materials because those are the main two reference books. And then, of course, you want to make sure that you get all of this from an ATP company using ATP instructors. And most importantly, at the top right there, you want a simulator. There we go. Now you can read it. All right. So you must have a simulator. Without the simulator these days, preparing for the exam is fine. Passing the exam, very, very hard. Okay. Calvin asks, did PMI release any reports showing common mistakes made by PMP exam candidates? Nope. PMI does not release any data at all from the PMP exam that goes into this sort of depth. All right, so that's kind of my approach that I recommend. Now, I did mention the reference books, right, a couple of times. Now, for the 2020 exam, we don't know what the reference books are. So these reference books here are for the 2021 exam. There are 10 of them, and the first two here, the Agile Practice Guide and the PMBOK Guide, are highlighted in turquoise because these are the primary ones. And also these are the ones that you need to study on your own, right? So you need to have those two. You need to study those. The others that are here in just white, those are the ones that you will be learning about through the PMI course, right? So all of these books here, two more to go on the next slide here, these are all additional books. If you've already read it, fine, but you don't necessarily have to go to that. Right, Karyam, we have to agree to disagree, right? If you look at our feedback that we are getting from customers, customers always tell me that our simulator is excellent and is very close to the real PMP exam. Appreciate your frankness, but I'm being just as frank. I disagree with you, Karyan. Our simulator is the best out there on the market. Okay. So when you say research is every year, are you required to retake that? No, Terry. You only have to earn the 60 PDUs and then renew. Okay. So going back to the reference books, these two reference books, you have to read them, you have to study them for your exam, but the rest you really don't. Okay. Another aspect is the Pearson VUE exam, because you can now also take the exam at home, online, or you can go to the exam center. PMI is doing this since April of 2020. There have been positive and negative experiences on all kinds. Some people, they log in, take the exam, they're done online at home. Others have to be on a phone call with their support for 2 hours and fix technical issues and all of that. As we've mentioned, there is the on-screen whiteboard only. You're not allowed to write anything down. And there is a mandatory break, 90 questions, then a break, mandatory break, and then 110 questions. Okay. Eric asks, do you expect that we'll see significantly more agile questions if we attempt the 2020 exam in December? No, you won't. Expect a small number, 2 to 5, maybe 7 agile questions on the exam. And if you read the Agile Practice Guide once, as you are preparing for the exam, you're good to go. Okay, even for the 2020 exam, it's not a bad thing to read the Agile Practice Guide. Okay. Anything else? No, we don't. Okay, so take action for chapters, for instructors, and for students. If you are a decision maker in a PMI chapter and you are considering to be an ATP, please remember that you may not have anybody who is ATP owner or instructor in core positions, in deciding positions. Okay, they all have to get just normal volunteers without decision-making power. Okay, if you don't want to become an ATP, you can work with an ATP like ourselves. My company is an ATP, and we'd love to teach the PMP exam for your chapter, right? And you can then decide how do you want to do this, work it out. But my number one thing is insist on a simulator. If the company that you're working with does not have a simulator, you are doing your students a disfavor. You need to have a simulator. And then, once you have A or B here, option A or B, you can begin offering the PMI Authorized PMP prep course through your chapter. If you are an instructor, then yeah, you have to step down from chapter boards. You may not have any decision-making or volunteer positions. That's a decision you have to make. You're either a decision-making PMI volunteer or you are an ATP instructor. Go ahead. Find an ATP to sponsor you, and if you're interested in becoming a ATP trainer through us, please write to me. My email address is on the screen here. Then once the ATP has sponsored you, you have to take a mandatory train-the-trainer class from PMI, 2 days long. You will then become PMI approved, get a badge. After that, you can get familiar with the course and you can start teaching the course. But you must teach the course through an ATP. So even if you are a PMI authorized trainer, you cannot just go out there and say, I'm now teaching this class. You must do this through a training company that is ATP authorized. You as a trainer cannot just teach. Only the company can teach. Okay. Moving on. Take action for students. So, if you are a student and you're thinking of taking the class next year, then do look for the PMI ATP badges. Make sure that you take the official PMI Authorized PMP exam prep course. Study the PMBOK guide and the Agile Practice Guide. Those are the primary reference materials that PMI is using. Use an exam simulator, obviously, and then after all of that studying and course taking and exam simulating, you will be able to pass your exam because the official PMI course will give you all the theoretical foundation that you need to pass the exam. And with the other two items, the PMBOK guide and the Agile Practice Guide, as well as the simulator, you should have no pass the exam. Calvin asks, why is the simulator so useful? To check PMBOK comprehension, to help interpret situation with type questions correctly? The latter, Calvin. The PMP exam has its very own language. It's written in its very own style. And if you just go and take the exam in that way, you will very likely be, it is a new language almost that you have to learn. And by using an exam simulator, you can start getting used to that language. Cindy asks, may I know what are the extra course help we can get after the instructor-led class? At this point, Cindy, we don't have any extra course help that you can have. We do, however, have some additional materials that we provide to our students, some supplemental materials, a few videos that we are allowed to still provide and let you study after that. But pretty much after the exam, you need to continue studying the PMBOK guide, as we say here, and use an exam simulator to get ready. So if you are taking the exam in 2021, then please do sign up to the waiting list. Let's see, do I still have this here? Copy paste. Yes, here we go. Let me paste that in here again. This particular link here that I've just given you, pmprepcast.com/PMP exam prep. That's where we have the waiting list. Scroll down to the blue buttons there. Okay, I'm giving it a few seconds because we are getting close to the end here. Right, here it is. If you want to go to the PMP exam prep course, that's the short version of the link. The direct version of the link is here in the chat. Also put it out on Facebook and YouTube here All right. Giving it a few more moments here to see if any other questions are coming in or if I'm seeing anything else that I have missed. Okay. Right. Yeah. I have no additional questions coming in at this point in the chat. The moment I said it. Ilya, my exam was scheduled in December 2020. However, the assessment center was closed due to COVID-19, and I received requests to schedule it in January 2021. Okay, that means then, Ilya, that most likely you will be taking the 2021 exam. You may want to go back in touch with your testing center and ask them which exam that you will be taking, just to make sure. Potentially because of this situation, you may be one of the very few ones that is allowed to take the old exam still next year. Okay. Calvin says, there are a lot of practice guides written by PMI Scheduling and Value Management WS. Does PMI expect candidates to read them? No, Calvin. PMI expects you to take their course, and PMI says the course is the basis for what you need in order to pass the exam. Okay. Calvin, I paid for it, but I'm prepped and ready to attempt my exam. Can I have access to the 2020 simulator, or will it not make much of a difference? Adam, I have to be frank with you. I have no idea. Okay. We know how to upgrade to 2021, but I cannot tell you if going back to 2020, if there's a lot of difference. In the 2021 simulator, you will have seen a lot of agile questions, and on the real exam you won't. Okay, so I really don't have a good answer for you here. Are you looking to add more PMP instructors to your team? Yes, we are indeed, Azita. I mentioned that a moment ago. Here we go. Here is my email address again, right? If you would like to, then please go ahead and write to this email address here that you see in the middle of your screen. Okay, and that's it. We're going to end at this point. And Dion is really expressing what I want to express. Thank you for your time today. And we very much appreciate that all of you were here. So I, just like Dion here, I wish you a merry, happy Christmas or a festive season, whatever you may be celebrating. I hope you are having a wonderful December to close out this year, 2020. Until next time, everybody.